Hello friends. If you were born on March 1st, you're not just another Pisces, you're a uniquely spirited soul, drenched in mysticism, overflowing with empathy, and radiating a quiet charisma that seems to touch everyone you meet. But there's so much more to your cosmic DNA than just your sun sign. Today, we're diving deep into the secrets of your personality through Western astrology, numerology, Druid, Vedic, flower, and stone horoscopes, revealing how they shape your love life, sex appeal, friendships, business sense, and compatibility. Buckle up, this is the kind of horoscope you won't find in a typical magazine. Western astrology, the mystical March 1st Pisces. People born on March 1st exist at a rare intersection of creativity, empathy, and spiritual depth. Under the rule of Neptune, you're already immersed in the ocean of dreams and deep emotional awareness. But the early March placement of your birthday infuses your Pisces energy with Venusian warmth, amplifying your natural allure, romantic essence, and aesthetic sensibility. You don't just feel emotions, you live them, often absorbing the energy of every room you walk into. This makes you seem both otherworldly and deeply connected at the same time, like someone who walks between worlds, reality and imagination, heart and soul. Your aura carries a sense of nostalgia, even if you've never experienced what you're drawn to. You're a mystery wrapped in softness, but with an inner resilience that few see coming. You're intuitive to the point of psychic. Your gut instincts are your secret weapon. Before someone finishes a sentence, you've already sensed what they're going to say. You're able to pick up on emotional shifts, subtle cues, even unspoken desires with almost eerie accuracy. Many born on March 1st report strong dreams, premonitions, or déjà vu moments that later prove meaningful. You often just know things without being told, and this psychic edge makes you an excellent judge of character when you listen to it. Ironically, despite your gift, you sometimes ignore your inner voice in matters of the heart, especially when emotions get tangled. But your intuition is always whispering truths. The more you trust it, the more your life aligns with your deeper purpose. You're gentle and compassionate, to the point that others may underestimate you. You don't bark orders or demand attention. Instead, you move through the world with softness, like a comforting melody in a noisy world. You'd rather help a stranger than win an argument. You're that person who notices when someone's having a rough day, even if they never say a word. Empathy flows out of you, not as an effort, but as a natural state of being. It's why people open up to you within minutes. But this kindness is also your vulnerability. You're prone to absorbing other people's pain and must learn how to shield your energy without losing your heart. Being gentle doesn't mean being naive. It means being strong enough to stay soft in a world that often isn't. You're naturally artistic, whether or not you call yourself an artist. You're the daydreamer in the meeting, the doodler in the notebook, the person who turns cooking into poetry or turns a rainy afternoon into a watercolor painting. Your creativity doesn't always show up in traditional forms. It might be how you speak, the way you dress, or the stories you tell. The March 1st Pisces has a mind that works like a kaleidoscope, constantly shifting, imagining, creating beauty from fragments. This innate artistic lens often leads you toward careers or hobbies in music, photography, design, or healing arts. Even when life gets chaotic, you find a way to turn it into art. You have a painter's soul, always searching for color, always chasing the next inspiration. You're emotionally intelligent on a level that can't be taught in textbooks. You understand how people feel, not because they tell you, but because you feel it too. Emotional intelligence isn't just about empathy, it's about reading between the lines, navigating complex relationships, and responding with depth. You're the one your friends call after breakups, during identity crises, or when they just need to be reminded that they're loved. You can calm storms with your words, sometimes without even trying. But your emotional sensitivity can also make life overwhelming. It's crucial for you to take time to process your own feelings, or else you'll end up carrying everyone else's too. Your strength lies in your emotional depth, but your peace comes from knowing how to protect it. You're prone to daydreaming and escapism, not because you're lazy or disinterested, but because the real world often feels too harsh. The March 1st mind is a world builder, always in motion. You retreat into dreams, fantasies, or spiritual thoughts when reality becomes too loud or uninspiring. This escapism can take healthy forms: art, meditation, travel, or harmful ones, like denial, procrastination, or unhealthy habits. It's important to channel your need to check out into outlets that feed your soul rather than drain it. Give yourself permission to dream, but also make space to return. Grounding practices like yoga, journaling, or walks in nature help you stay rooted while still letting your imagination fly. You have a special connection to the emotional and spiritual undercurrents of life. To you, emotions aren't just reactions, they're frequencies. You're often the first to detect a shift in energy, whether in a room, a relationship, or the wider world. Spirituality isn't something you do on weekends, it's woven into your daily experience. Many born on March 1st feel connected to mystical subjects like astrology, tarot, or past lives. You're drawn to symbolism, signs, and deeper meanings in everything. People often describe your presence as healing, simply because being around you feels like a return to calm. You may be soft-spoken, but your energy speaks volumes. The more you cultivate your spiritual awareness, the more aligned your life becomes with its cosmic blueprint. People are drawn to your empathy and often come to you for advice, comfort, or simply to bask in your calming aura. But don't mistake your softness for weakness. There's iron in your soul when it matters most. You're the kind of person who gives endlessly, but if someone crosses your core values, they'll see a side of you that's steely, unwavering, and powerful. This inner strength often surprises others, and even you. When life demands it, you rise. You don't fight with fists. You fight with resilience, faith, and a quiet certainty that love is stronger than fear. March 1st Pisces aren't pushovers, they're healers, dreamers, and warriors of the heart. Love and romance. Love for the March 1st Pisces is never ordinary. It's sacred, soulful, and deeply transformative. You don't just want affection, you crave connection on a level that goes beyond logic or words. You see love as a merging of two spirits, not just two bodies. That's why you can fall fast and deep, swept away by someone's energy even before you fully know them. For you, love is a mirror of the divine, a place where vulnerability becomes strength and passion becomes prayer. But this depth means you also risk heartbreak more often than most. Because you feel so deeply, even the smallest imbalance can ripple through your emotional world like a tidal wave. You give everything, body, mind, and soul. When you fall in love, you fully surrender. There are no half measures with you. You become a source of emotional nourishment, a haven, a safe place. You intuitively sense your partner's needs, sometimes before they do, and you strive to meet them with devotion. You love the idea of being needed, and you're happiest when your partner lets you express affection freely. But this total surrender also means that your boundaries can blur. You must learn to love without losing yourself. Healthy love doesn't require self-erasure, it requires balance, something you grow into over time. You're loyal but sensitive to betrayal. Even small emotional imbalances can hurt you deeply. Because you offer your love so completely, anything less than full transparency or trust can cut deep. You notice changes in tone, missed calls, or subtle shifts in energy, and they don't go unnoticed. You're quick to forgive, but slow to forget. When your trust is broken, you feel it in your soul, not just your heart. That's why emotional honesty is the foundation of any lasting relationship for you. Betrayal doesn't just hurt, it disorients you. It's not about pride, it's about soul trust being fractured. You often romanticize your partners, which can lead to disillusionment if reality doesn't match the fantasy. In the early stages of love, you see only the good. You fall for potential, for the poetry, for the magic in someone's eyes. And while that can be beautiful, it can also be blinding. You may overlook red flags, excuse bad behavior, or stay in situations where your needs aren't being met, all because you've fallen for an idealized version of the person, not the actual person. Learning to love people as they are, not as you imagine them, is one of your most important lessons in love. You're most compatible with signs that offer stability, structure, and patience, such as Cancer, Taurus, and Capricorn. Cancer understands your emotional tides, Taurus gives you grounding and sensual comfort, and Capricorn offers structure and steady devotion that helps you thrive. You also find irresistible chemistry with Scorpio, another water sign who matches your intensity, and sometimes even with fellow Pisces, if both of you have enough earth energy elsewhere in your charts. These relationships can feel cosmic, as if you've known each other in past lives. But balance is key. You need a partner who can honor your depth and help you stay tethered to the real world. You are incredibly seductive, whether you know it or not. There's something about your energy that draws people in. It's not loud or obvious, but it's magnetic. You seduce with your eyes, your vulnerability, your quiet presence. You make people feel seen in a way they never have before. You understand emotional language more fluently than most and can often speak straight to someone's soul. This makes you incredibly desirable, but it also means people may project fantasies onto you. Be cautious of those who fall in love with your mystery but fail to support your reality. Love advice: don't fall in love with someone's potential. Let your intuition guide you, but don't ignore the red flags. This is your golden rule. While your intuition is one of your greatest strengths, your compassion can cloud it. You often want to heal others through love, believing that with enough tenderness, someone will rise into the person you know they could be. But love isn't rehab, and your worth isn't measured by how much you can fix someone. Trust your first instincts. The moment you feel off balance, unheard, or unseen, listen. Love should elevate you, not exhaust you. Keep your heart open, but your eyes open wider. Marriage. Marriage for a March 1st Pisces is far more than a ceremonial event or a legal status. It is a sacred, soul-level bond that reflects the highest ideals of love. You don't enter marriage lightly. In fact, you often idealize the concept so much that the idea of settling for less than a perfect match is unthinkable. To you, marriage is a lifelong merging of emotional energies, a shared inner world where two people nurture not just a home, but a shared dreamscape. You crave a partner who doesn't just understand you, but feels you. Someone who sees your moods not as emotional fluctuations, but as tides in a larger emotional ocean. For you, love should evolve into something divine, an emotional haven where each person is safe to be completely themselves without fear of judgment or abandonment. As a spouse, you are devoted and nurturing in the most heartfelt way. You offer consistent emotional presence, quiet encouragement, and a deep sense of compassion that makes your partner feel safe and valued. You listen without judgment, love without conditions, and show up emotionally even on the days when you're not at your best. Your love language is often nonverbal: gentle touches, long looks, intuitive support when words fail. You can sense your partner's needs without being told. You're the one who remembers the little things that matter, from anniversaries to unspoken fears. Your nurturing doesn't come from obligation. It flows naturally from your belief that love, when pure, heals all wounds. You don't just love your partner, you believe in them. And when someone becomes part of your inner world, you cherish them like a sacred treasure. You view marriage as a spiritual union, not just a legal contract, and this belief runs deep. To you, love is a divine energy. Marriage, in its truest form, is a sanctuary, an emotional church where two souls vow to walk through this life together, supporting one another's growth, pain, and joy. You're not interested in superficial vows or material arrangements. You're looking for someone to share a lifetime of transformation and emotional evolution. You often have a sense that marriage should feel fated, like something written in the stars. This can create sky-high expectations, but it also means that once you commit, you're in with your entire being. You'll endure storms, face crises, and stretch your own limitations for the sake of your partner's well-being, as long as you feel spiritually connected and emotionally respected. You want a partner who understands your emotional rhythms and supports your dreams, even the wild ones. Your inner world is vast and ever-changing. One day you're quiet and reflective, the next you're brimming with creative energy. You need someone who doesn't demand consistency in a linear sense but appreciates the cyclical nature of your emotions. Your dreams may seem fantastical to others, like starting a poetry cafe, moving across the country, or opening an animal sanctuary, but to the right partner, they'll be beautiful blueprints of who you are. You thrive with someone who says, "Let's do it," rather than, "That's not practical." If your partner can offer both emotional validation and practical support, you'll feel truly seen. When your dreams are watered with love and belief, they bloom, taking your marriage into extraordinary territory. In a marriage, you're likely to be the emotional anchor, creating a peaceful, love-filled home. You don't just want a house, you want a sanctuary, a space where your partner can exhale the world's noise and feel restored. Your home tends to be filled with softness, candles, music, art, fresh flowers, spiritual books. You understand that emotional peace isn't built in a day, but you're willing to invest the time and energy to create it. You offer patience when your partner is overwhelmed, comfort when they're hurting, and inspiration when they've lost their spark. You may not be the most structured partner in terms of chores or logistics, but emotionally, you're deeply reliable. Your presence soothes, your words calm, and your loyalty brings a quiet strength that turns your relationship into a sacred foundation for both of you. But commitment isn't always easy for you, not because you fear love, but because your vision of love is so elevated, so filled with romantic and spiritual expectations, that few people can live up to it. You often spend your early adult years chasing soulmates, confusing chemistry with destiny. You may resist settling down until you're absolutely certain you've found the one. And even then, doubts can arise. Will they always understand me? Will I lose myself? Will the mystery fade? These fears are natural for a soul as deep as yours. But once you do commit, it's a forever thing. You're loyal to your core. You won't walk away when things get tough, but you do need emotional truth and a partner who is brave enough to grow alongside you. When that's in place, you'll flourish. Once you do find your match, you're in it for life, as long as your partner maintains emotional transparency. Deception, distance, or disconnection will shake the foundations of your marriage. You can forgive almost anything, except a lack of emotional honesty. If your partner closes themselves off, you'll begin to feel like a ghost in your own home. Emotional walls confuse and wound you, because you're always offering your own feelings so freely. You need vulnerability to feel intimacy, and openness to feel safe. Emotional transparency isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a non-negotiable. But when it's present, the bond becomes something divine. Your relationship turns into a sacred mirror, reflecting the highest truths back at one another, and allowing both of you to evolve into better versions of yourselves. Your ideal life partners are found among signs that complement and ground your emotional nature. Taurus offers you sensuality, loyalty, and a calm presence that helps stabilize your emotional waters. Their earthy energy keeps you grounded, and their quiet strength makes you feel secure. With Cancer, you share a depth of emotional intelligence that makes your connection feel psychic. This pairing creates a nest of nurturing and trust, where both partners feel fully understood. Virgo may seem like an unlikely match at first, but their practical energy perfectly balances your dreamy nature. They bring structure where you bring vision, and together you create a partnership based on mutual growth and respect. These signs don't just tolerate your intensity, they celebrate it, turning your romantic ideals into a beautifully lived reality. Sex and intimacy. For those born on March 1st, sex isn't just a physical act, it's a deeply emotional, often spiritual journey. You don't seek surface-level encounters. For you, true intimacy requires trust, emotional resonance, and a safe space where fantasy can breathe freely. You crave a lover who understands the unspoken, who senses when to hold you tight and when to let your mind drift into sensual reverie. Your approach to sex is fluid, intuitive, and deeply attuned to the emotional atmosphere in the room. You're not just interested in bodies, you're drawn to souls. In the right context, you make love with a level of passion that can feel otherworldly, almost transcendental. It's not about technique, it's about energy, emotional flow, and connection that feels fated. You seek emotional vulnerability, fantasy, and trust in the bedroom. Vulnerability is your aphrodisiac. You're most turned on when your partner bears their soul, not just their body. You don't want performance, you want presence. Eye contact, whispered truths, shared secrets before or after, it all weaves into your experience of sex. And because your mind is endlessly imaginative, fantasy plays a big role. Whether it's role play, storytelling, or simply creating an emotional atmosphere of romance and mystery, you're not afraid to push into imaginative territory. Trust is key. Without it, you'll hold back. With it, you'll give yourself completely. You need to feel emotionally safe before your sensual side fully awakens. You're highly sensual, intuitive, and often mirror your partner's desires. You pick up on subtle cues, breathing, tone, tension, and adapt accordingly. If your partner is hesitant, you slow down. If they're feeling bold, you rise to match their energy. This emotional tuning fork ability makes you an incredibly satisfying lover. You don't just respond, you feel what your partner feels, often without them saying a word. Your sensuality isn't just about touch, it's about timing, tone, and atmosphere. You instinctively know how to move, when to pause, and how to create a rhythm that makes your partner feel completely seen and satisfied. It's almost like making love with someone who's reading your soul in real time. Your fantasy-rich mind makes you an inventive lover. You're not content with routine. You long to explore new emotional and sensual dimensions with your partner. This doesn't necessarily mean adventurous or wild, though it can, but rather, deep. You want sex that evolves over time, that reflects growth, emotional milestones, new dreams. You might initiate themed nights, emotional role play, spiritual sex rituals, or deep tantric experiences. You have a gift for taking intimacy into symbolic realms where the body becomes a language, and every touch is part of a larger emotional narrative. With the right partner, sex becomes a form of storytelling, a journey through vulnerability, release, and love. You're open to experimentation as long as it deepens intimacy. For you, trying something new in bed isn't about shock value, it's about connection. If a new experience brings you closer, you're all in. If it feels like a detour from emotional resonance, you'll likely pull back. You're less interested in the what and more focused on the why. What matters is the emotional undertone. You're open-minded, curious, and eager to please, but never in a way that detaches from your core values of love, empathy, and emotional bonding. Communication before and after is essential. You love discussing desires, boundaries, and afterglows. It keeps the experience emotionally alive and evolving. Emotional safety is key. You give more when you feel understood. If your partner creates a space where you feel emotionally supported, you'll reveal parts of yourself that most never get to see. Your sensuality blooms in safety. You'll be bold, experimental, and generous when you trust your partner not just with your body, but with your heart. Feeling misunderstood or emotionally dismissed, however, causes you to shut down quickly. You need reassurance, emotional presence, and a sense that your partner is with you, not just beside you. When that's present, your intimacy becomes an unfolding of spiritual energy, like music played in perfect harmony. Your sexual energy often lies dormant until awakened by a deep connection. You may go through long stretches where your focus is elsewhere, on art, spirituality, healing. But when the right emotional and energetic chemistry sparks, it ignites something powerful in you. You go from dreamy and introspective to deeply passionate and fully engaged. Sex, for you, is never casual, it's alchemical. It's where two souls intertwine, creating a space of healing, passion, and mutual revelation. Once that energy is lit, it's not just intense, it's unforgettable. You don't just leave a mark, you leave a memory, one that lingers in your partner's heart long after the moment has passed. Friendship. If you were born on March 1st, friendship isn't just companionship, it's a sacred emotional connection. You don't see friends as people to hang out with casually. You see them as chosen soulmates, kindred spirits who walk with you through the storms and stillness of life. You treat your friendships like living things, tenderly, intuitively, with care. People naturally gravitate toward you because your energy is comforting, open, and free of judgment. You're the friend who remembers birthdays, sends late-night encouragement texts, and offers a warm shoulder without needing to be asked. There's something disarmingly safe about you. Strangers tell you their life stories. Lifelong friends tell you their secrets. You carry people's emotional weight not out of obligation, but because your heart is designed for connection. Your challenge is protecting your peace while still offering your light. You prefer deep, soulful connections over large groups. While you can navigate social scenes when needed, you rarely enjoy shallow small talk or surface-level chatter. You crave friendships that allow you to be real, messy, emotional, spiritual, and fully human. You value one-on-one time, late-night conversations, shared silences, and moments that touch the soul. Group dynamics often drain you unless the energy is deeply aligned. Parties and social events can feel overstimulating unless you have a trusted friend by your side. In truth, you're happiest when your friendships feel more like intimate partnerships than casual alliances. You want to know your friends' dreams, fears, heartbreaks, and hopes. You want to be the person who gets them, deeply and completely. You're naturally generous, sometimes to a fault. You give your time, your attention, your resources, and your emotional energy without keeping score. If a friend needs help moving, you're there. If they're crying at midnight, you're already dialing them back. Your generosity doesn't stem from ego or duty, it's how you show love. But this pure-hearted approach can make you vulnerable to imbalance. Some friends may start to expect your emotional labor without offering reciprocity. You may find yourself constantly showing up for others while no one shows up for you. It's crucial to remember that giving isn't always receiving. Generosity is beautiful, but it must come with boundaries to protect your own heart. You need friends who don't take advantage of your kindness. Because you radiate compassion, some people see you as an emotional safe zone, and they take more than they give. You've likely experienced friendships where you played the therapist, the healer, the fixer, but when you needed support, the phone stayed silent. This pattern can leave you feeling unappreciated or even used. That's why you thrive with friends who reciprocate your kindness and honor your emotional labor. You don't need grand gestures, just sincerity, presence, and respect. A friend who listens when you speak, who sees your sensitivity as strength, and who doesn't treat your care as an entitlement will become a lifelong companion in your world. Your best friendships are often with water signs like Cancer and Scorpio, who understand your depth, or earth signs like Virgo, who offer grounding energy. Cancer connects with you emotionally. They understand your tides, your moods, your need for quiet connection. Together, you create a friendship that feels like family. Scorpio mirrors your intensity, your mysticism, your ability to read between the lines. Conversations with them often go to the soul's edge, and you love it. Virgo, though very different from you, offers structure, realism, and grounding that helps you stay balanced. They'll help you stay organized, offer clear advice, and quietly support you through everything. With the right Virgo, you feel safe enough to be as dreamy and creative as you are, because they'll help catch you when you float too far off the ground. Beware of energy vampires. You absorb emotions like a sponge, set emotional boundaries, even with longtime friends. One of your greatest gifts is your empathy, but it can also be your greatest burden. When friends come to you with pain, you don't just listen, you feel it. You carry it, you take it into your body like it's your own. And if you're not careful, this can leave you emotionally drained and energetically depleted. Not every friend deserves that level of access to your spirit. It's okay to say no. It's okay to take space. It's okay to ask for reciprocity. Boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. They protect your light so you can continue shining for those who truly value it. Don't be afraid to let go of friendships that feed on your kindness without feeding your soul. Business and career. At first glance, you may not strike people as a classic business personality, but that's only because they're looking for spreadsheets instead of soul. You're far more strategic, insightful, and quietly ambitious than people assume. Your March 1st Pisces energy gives you access to a type of intuitive intelligence that thrives in industries where vision, creativity, and emotional resonance matter. You may not follow the traditional career ladder, but when you follow your heart, you often end up several steps ahead. You understand trends before they happen. You read people's motivations instinctively. You connect dots others miss. And when your work aligns with your values, you're unstoppable. You're not just looking for a paycheck, you want purpose. And when that's in place, your work becomes your art, your impact, and your legacy. Your creative and intuitive mind makes you a powerhouse in industries like arts, music, and film. You don't just create content, you channel it. Your work often comes from emotional truth, spiritual symbolism, or subconscious inspiration. Whether you're writing lyrics, designing visuals, editing film, or acting out a character, you infuse everything with feeling. You're especially gifted at telling stories that move people, stories that stir the heart, awaken the mind, or heal invisible wounds. Your creative process may seem chaotic to others, but it works. Inspiration often strikes at 2 a.m., in the shower, or while walking alone. Trust it, follow it. The more you allow your instincts to lead, the more your art will resonate on a universal level. You also thrive in psychology and healing fields because of your natural empathy and emotional perception. You don't just listen, you hear. You understand what people aren't saying, and your compassion allows you to guide them through emotional labyrinths. Many March 1st Pisces become therapists, counselors, holistic practitioners, or coaches. You may also be drawn to energy work, body healing, or trauma-informed practices. Your presence is healing in itself. Even in casual conversations, you tend to offer insights that stick with people for years. You don't need a PhD to be a healer, you are one, by nature. Your challenge is to protect your energy, because holding space for others can become exhausting if you don't also hold space for yourself. You have a natural affinity for spiritual coaching or mysticism, which often becomes a second career or passion project. Whether it's astrology, tarot, mediumship, dream work, or spiritual mentoring, your intuitive gifts make you a powerful guide. You're not interested in woo-woo fluff, you want meaning. You want to help people awaken. And you have the presence, voice, and insight to do so. People trust you because you speak from a place of humility and heart. If you've ever felt called to build a spiritual platform, write a book, host retreats, or teach, don't ignore that calling. Your voice carries a frequency that people need to hear. You weren't made to follow rules. You were made to follow purpose. You're also drawn to nonprofits and humanitarian work because you're wired to help. You care deeply about justice, healing, and the well-being of those who suffer. Whether it's working with animals, the environment, vulnerable populations, or community projects, you find purpose in service. You often feel like your life mission involves making the world softer, kinder, or more whole. Money matters to you, but meaning matters more. You'll work harder for causes you care about than for personal gain. If your job allows you to align your values with your work, you become a force of quiet, unstoppable compassion. But your challenge is consistency. Pisces born on March 1st are visionaries, not always fans of schedules, structure, or systems. You're ruled by emotion and intuition, which can make traditional 9-to-5 jobs feel limiting. You may struggle with follow-through, time management, or organizational structure, especially when uninspired. It's not because you're lazy, it's because you operate from feeling, not force. The key is to create systems that work for you. Use tools that let you express freely but still keep you accountable. Find routines that are flexible, not rigid. And don't be afraid to delegate the logistics so you can focus on the big picture. You weren't meant to live by the clock. You were meant to create time through flow. Your ideal business partners are Virgo, Capricorn, and Libra. Virgo grounds your ideas and helps with structure. Capricorn offers leadership, resilience, and strategy that turns your visions into plans. Libra brings balance, beauty, and diplomacy, helping you communicate your ideas to the world. These partners don't stifle your creativity, they sharpen it. They bring the tools you need to succeed while respecting the unique gifts you bring to the table. Together, you can create projects that are not only successful but soulful. You may clash with overly rigid or emotionally detached personalities, but with the right team, your dream can become a movement. Avoid toxic workplaces, they crush your spirit. You need an environment where empathy, imagination, and innovation are celebrated, not suppressed. Offices that operate through cold logic, micromanagement, or transactional values will drain you. You need leadership that honors emotional intelligence, flexibility, and human connection. If you feel spiritually out of sync at work, your creativity dies. Don't be afraid to pivot, freelance, or carve your own path. You may never fit into traditional boxes, and that's exactly what makes you exceptional. Create a career that fits your soul, not just your resume. And remember, you don't work for the money, you work for the meaning. Numerology, the power of number 1. Being born on the first day of March places you under the powerful vibration of the number 1 in numerology, a number synonymous with leadership, originality, and fearless new beginnings. This may seem at odds with your deeply emotional Pisces nature, but in truth, it gives you a beautifully paradoxical edge. You are both a dreamer and a doer. You possess the emotional depth of a water sign and the soul-driven ambition of a number 1. While most people associate Pisces with passivity or gentle drifting, your birth number charges your spirit with initiative, innovation, and a deep-seated desire to carve out a unique path. You don't need permission to shine. You were born lit from within, even if you prefer to glow quietly rather than blaze loudly. Your journey is one of turning dreams into direction, and feelings into forward motion. You are braver than the average Pisces, often willing to step into the unknown without a roadmap. The number 1 is ruled by the sun in numerology, which symbolizes identity, confidence, and self-expression. While your Pisces sun may soften your edges, that inner one never stops pushing you toward growth. You're the type who will chase a passion project without waiting for approval. You'll leave a relationship that no longer aligns with your truth. You'll make bold life changes that confuse others but make perfect sense to your spirit. Your courage is rarely loud or performative. It's the quiet kind, the kind that writes a book in the dark, starts a business from scratch, or begins again after heartbreak. You are brave not because you lack fear, but because your soul always knows there's something brighter beyond it. You are willing to take emotional risks, which is one of your most powerful gifts. Pisces energy gives you emotional depth. The number 1 gives you emotional courage. This combination makes you uniquely equipped to open your heart, even after it's been hurt. You believe in vulnerability as a strength, not a weakness. While others may fear the consequences of honesty or exposure, you often lean into those moments, trusting that truth leads to transformation. You might write the first text, apologize first, move cities for love or passion, put your art or feelings on display even when you're unsure of the outcome. It's not recklessness, it's your deep belief that emotional authenticity is worth the risk. And when you do get hurt, you heal faster than most because your number 1 energy is future-focused. You may cry, but you'll rise stronger every time. You are a quiet but powerful force in any room. You don't need to dominate conversations or seek constant validation. Instead, your presence speaks for itself, magnetic, thoughtful, and undeniably unique. The number 1 gives you a silent confidence, a sense of inner direction that doesn't beg to be noticed but can't be ignored. While others try to stand out, you often naturally do, simply by being completely yourself. You lead by example, not ego. Whether in a workplace, a friendship circle, or a creative collaboration, people look to you for clarity, direction, and insight. You don't clamor for the spotlight, but when it finds you, you shine with grace and integrity. Your voice carries weight because it's rooted in authenticity, and your energy commands respect even without a single word. You often hide your ambition behind humility, which makes your success both surprising and impressive. On the surface, you may appear easygoing, soft-spoken, or even unsure. But beneath that gentle exterior lies a fire, a steady, focused drive to create, improve, and reach the top of whatever mountain you set your eyes on. You're not boastful, but you are strategic. You don't need applause, you need progress. And because your ambition is cloaked in humility, you often catch people off guard with how far you've come or how much you've accomplished. It's a quiet storm, a patient hustle. You don't rush, you move when it feels right, but when you do move, it's with precision and purpose. You're the kind of person who builds something beautiful while no one's watching, and then leaves the world speechless when it's revealed. You lead not with ego, but with vision, which is why people trust you. You don't seek to control others, you seek to inspire them. Your number one vibration gives you the clarity to see what others don't, and your Pisces empathy gives you the sensitivity to lead with compassion. You're less interested in power and more interested in purpose. You'd rather create something meaningful than be celebrated for something shallow. When placed in leadership roles, you don't micromanage, you mentor. You help people see their potential because you feel it intuitively. Your ideas are usually one step ahead, your instincts finely tuned. You see where things are headed before others do, which makes you a natural innovator. You don't need a title to be a leader. You already are one, simply by living in alignment with your truth. You are a pioneer in your own life, always looking for what hasn't been done, especially in your personal evolution. You're not content with the status quo. You need freedom, originality, and space to become more of who you really are. Whether it's moving to a new city, changing careers, breaking generational patterns, or exploring unconventional ideas, you are always searching for the frontier of your soul. You may not always feel confident, but the number one is always whispering, "Be bold, begin again." That voice, that fire, that forward motion energy lives inside you. And when you trust it, you become unstoppable, not by stepping over others, but by stepping fully into your own light. You carry the ability to create your own path, even if no one else understands it. This is the true power of the number one. It doesn't wait for permission. It leads, it builds, it births, and when paired with your Piscean heart, that leadership becomes something sacred. You're here not just to succeed, you're here to do it your way. And in doing so, you quietly give others permission to do the same. Druid horoscope, the weeping willow. In the ancient wisdom of the Druid tree calendar, being born between February 28th and March 10th places you under the sacred tree of the weeping willow, a symbol of deep intuition, poetic sensitivity, and emotional transformation. The willow is the tree of the moon and water, two elements that govern the subconscious, the feminine, the mysterious. As a willow soul, you're not here to live on the surface. You were born to dive into the depths of emotion, of memory, of meaning, and return with truths that others may have missed. Your essence is graceful yet strong, flowing yet rooted. You bend without breaking. You feel without becoming lost. You heal not by escaping pain, but by understanding it. The willow is not only symbolic of your inner nature, it's a mirror of how you live, love, and grow. You are sensitive to your environment, both emotionally and energetically. Like a willow tree responding to the breeze, you're deeply attuned to the moods, thoughts, and energies around you. Entering a room, you can feel if something's off, long before anyone speaks. Your empathy is not something you switch on and off, it's always running. While this makes you a comforting and perceptive friend, it also makes chaotic or toxic environments especially harmful to you. You absorb more than most, and it's essential to protect your energetic space. Music, lighting, colors, voices, all of it impacts your nervous system. You need peaceful surroundings, sacred solitude, and gentle routines to feel centered. Nature calms you because it speaks your language, a soft rhythm, an intuitive pull, a silent knowing. You are deeply artistic and visionary, often using your emotions as fuel for creation. Whether you express yourself through writing, painting, dance, or even the way you style your home, art is not a hobby for you, it's a lifeline. You process your world through aesthetic and symbolic language. You see the poetry in pain, the meaning in melancholy, the beauty in becoming. Your creativity doesn't demand attention, it offers connection. When you create, you invite others into your inner world, giving them permission to explore their own. You don't just make things, you evoke feelings, tell stories, and awaken dreams. And when you trust your instincts, your work doesn't just touch others, it transforms them. You are connected to the emotional tides of the moon, often without realizing it. The phases of the moon subtly shift your moods, energy levels, and creative rhythms. Full moons may heighten your emotions, while new moons might make you crave solitude and introspection. You are, in many ways, ruled by lunar rhythms. This makes you an intuitive timekeeper, someone who senses when to move, when to rest, when to release, and when to manifest. Aligning your life with moon cycles, through rituals, journaling, or intention setting, can help you harness your natural rhythm. You're not meant to move in straight lines. You move in spirals, waves, and seasons, just like the moon, just like the willow. You often feel like an old soul, drawn to the past, folklore, and hidden truths. History isn't just a subject for you, it's a feeling. You're magnetically pulled toward ancient wisdom, ancestral memory, and forgotten stories. You might be fascinated by mythology, herbalism, divination, or ancient languages. You believe there's more to life than what meets the eye, and you're constantly seeking the spiritual or symbolic meaning behind everyday experiences. Past life memories may come through dreams, or you may feel an unexplainable connection to places you've never been. Your wisdom goes beyond your years, and others often turn to you for insight, comfort, or guidance, even when you're still figuring things out yourself. Nature restores you, especially water. Lakes, rivers, oceans, and even rain have a unique ability to cleanse your spirit and recharge your emotional body. When overwhelmed, simply being near water can bring you back to yourself. The gentle sway of waves, the sound of a creek, the quiet stillness of a lake, these are your sacred medicines. You're a child of water, like the willow, which often grows along riversides and wetlands. Time spent outdoors, especially near trees or water, isn't just relaxing, it's essential. It resets your nervous system, reawakens your intuition, and helps you feel whole again. Whether it's a walk through the woods, a bath under moonlight, or a moment of stillness beside a stream, these are not luxuries for you. They are necessities. You have a natural gift for emotional transformation, much like the willow, which can regrow even when cut back. You understand that grief is not something to avoid, but something to pass through. You feel your feelings fully, and in doing so, you allow yourself to heal in deep and lasting ways. You don't fear emotional darkness, because you know it's where the soul grows. Others may avoid pain, but you sit with it, speak to it, and allow it to teach you. This resilience isn't always visible, but it's profound. You rise from emotional winters with new wisdom and creative fire. You are constantly evolving, not despite your emotions, but because of them. As a willow soul, your path is to embody sensitivity and strength, mystery and clarity, emotion and insight. You are here to remind the world that there is wisdom in softness, power in healing, and beauty in the unseen. In your roots lies memory. In your branches lies possibility. And in your heart lies the quiet magic of one who walks between worlds. Vedic Astrology, Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. If you were born on March 1st, there's a strong chance you fall under the influence of Purva Bhadrapada, one of the most enigmatic and spiritually charged nakshatras in Vedic astrology. This lunar mansion is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, expansion, dharma, and higher truth. But Purva Bhadrapada isn't your typical Jupiterian star. It's a mystical fire, a spark of divine intensity that dances between worlds. It carries a duality, one foot in this life, one in the beyond. It pushes you to look beneath the surface, to explore life's mysteries, and to constantly shed old versions of yourself for something truer, deeper, more awakened. People born under this nakshatra often feel a pull toward something bigger than themselves. You're not just here to exist, you're here to evolve. And not just for yourself, but to light the way for others. You are philosophical and intense, often pondering questions others avoid. Why are we here? What is karma? What lies beyond the veil of the visible world? These aren't abstract curiosities to you, they're fuel. Your mind naturally veers toward the profound. You don't settle for easy answers or shallow interpretations. You want to know the why beneath the why. This philosophical depth makes you a thinker, a seeker, and often a reluctant sage. You don't preach, but your words carry weight. Your intensity isn't aggressive, it's energetic. You walk into a room and shift its vibration just by being present. People sense your depth and may feel both drawn to and intimidated by it. But your goal isn't to impress, it's to understand. You'd rather spend hours in deep discussion than minutes in small talk. And when you find someone who meets you on that level, you never forget them. You are passionate about justice and truth, and that passion burns silently but fiercely. While others may compromise to avoid conflict, you struggle to stay silent when you witness dishonesty, manipulation, or injustice. You have an internal compass that points unwaveringly toward what's right, not just legally, but spiritually. You believe in truth as a sacred force, something that must be protected, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. This can make you a powerful advocate, a wise counselor, or a loyal friend. You won't sugarcoat hard realities, but you'll deliver them with compassion and clarity. If you see someone being treated unfairly, your protective instincts rise immediately. You don't tolerate cruelty, you don't accept corruption, and if necessary, you'll burn down illusions to rebuild something more honest in their place. You are attracted to metaphysical ideas, not as entertainment, but as a path. Astrology, karma, reincarnation, meditation, mysticism, ancient scriptures, these aren't just passing fascinations for you. They're keys, portals, tools to decode a universe that has always felt more complex than what meets the eye. From a young age, you may have felt like there's more going on than people are willing to admit. Dreams carry messages. Symbols show up when you need them. Moments feel fated. These aren't coincidences, they're clues. You're here to connect those dots. Many born under Purva Bhadrapada become spiritual seekers, healers, yogis, or even occult scholars. You don't need religion to feel divine energy. You are the ceremony, the ritual, the living altar. And as you explore the metaphysical, you often unlock deeper dimensions of yourself. This nakshatra gives you an inner strength to transform yourself and others. You are a natural alchemist. You take your own pain and turn it into power. You take loss and find meaning. You take chaos and make it into a path. Transformation isn't a phase for you, it's your way of life. You are not afraid of the dark because you know your light was forged there. Others come to you when they're in transition, after heartbreaks, during crises, in moments of awakening. They sense that you've walked those roads and returned wiser. But don't forget, your transformation doesn't have to be dramatic to be profound. Sometimes your growth is subtle, slow, and quiet, like roots deepening in the earth. And even in silence, you inspire change. You don't just evolve, you help others evolve through your presence, your truth, and your willingness to keep growing. You are a spiritual warrior, even if you don't flaunt it. You don't wear your beliefs on your sleeve. You're not always in the front row at the retreat. But your soul is always in conversation with something sacred. Whether you pray aloud or simply walk through life with reverence, you carry the vibration of someone who remembers. Maybe not consciously, but in your bones, your dreams, your reactions to beauty and tragedy, you remember something ancient. Your spirituality isn't performative, it's personal. You fight battles others don't see. You uphold values others forget. You protect peace like it's a sacred artifact. And when tested, you rise with clarity, calm, and conviction. You may be gentle in demeanor, but your spirit is made of starlight and steel. Your moon sign in Vedic astrology may heavily influence your personality, especially in relationships. Unlike Western astrology, which focuses on your sun sign, Vedic astrology places great emphasis on the moon, which represents your emotional nature, subconscious drives, and interpersonal patterns. Depending on where your moon falls, you may express your Purva Bhadrapada qualities differently, more outwardly if paired with fire signs, more reservedly if linked to earth or water. The moon's placement can also shape how you love, how you heal, and what kind of partner you need. For example, a Purva Bhadrapada native with a moon in Cancer may crave emotional safety above all else, while one with a moon in Sagittarius may seek freedom and expansion in love. Understanding your moon sign brings depth and nuance to your nakshatra, offering a more complete picture of your karmic design. Purva Bhadrapada energy means your life is often one of bridges and thresholds, the space between endings and beginnings, mystery and clarity, destruction and rebirth. You are not here to walk the easy road. You are here to illuminate the true road. Sometimes that means letting go of people, ideas, or paths that no longer serve your highest truth. Sometimes it means standing alone until the right tribe finds you. But through it all, your light never dims. It just gets more refined, more potent, more you. You don't just believe in destiny, you become it, with every step, every tear, every transformation. Your journey may be mysterious, but its purpose is crystal clear: to awaken not just yourself, but everyone you touch. Flower horoscope, water lily. In the language of flowers, the water lily is the emblem of purity, enlightenment, and emotional resilience, and as someone born under its bloom, your spirit reflects all of those traits with stunning clarity. Floating above murky waters yet rooted in the depths, the water lily represents the very paradox that defines your life. You are light and dark. You are softness and strength. You are the embodiment of growth rising out of emotional depth. Like the water lily, you are not afraid of where you've come from. Instead, you rise from it, gracefully, beautifully, and with purpose. Your essence is layered, luminous, and profoundly healing to those around you. People may see your calm exterior and assume life has been gentle to you, but what they don't see are the deep roots, the still battles, the quiet triumphs you've lived through. And like the flower you mirror, you bloom anyway. You symbolize purity, not because you've never struggled, but because you've remained intact despite the struggle. Your intentions are clean. Your heart is sincere. You don't manipulate, deceive, or seek control. When you love, it's unconditional. When you give, it's generous. There's a childlike honesty in your soul that never quite fades, even when life gets complicated. You may be naive at times, but you're never malicious. That's your strength. While others harden over time, you stay open. While others grow cynical, you stay believing. Your purity isn't perfection, it's presence. It's your ability to be fully alive, fully present, fully you, even after everything you've been through. You remind people that there's still beauty in vulnerability, and hope in honesty. You possess hidden depths, often more vast than even you realize. You feel things most people can't name. You carry emotional memories from this life, and possibly others, that surface in dreams, intuition, and sudden surges of empathy. You often seem quiet or introverted not because you have nothing to say, but because you're processing layers of insight that take time to translate into words. You might cry for reasons you can't explain. You might love someone you barely know. You know things without being told. That's your depth in motion. The water lily grows in stillness, and so do you. Your depth isn't loud, but it's transformative. It's what makes you unforgettable. You embody spiritual awakening, even when you're not trying to. Your very presence often stirs something in others, a memory of who they really are, a glimpse of what they've forgotten. You may have a calming effect on people. Strangers might open up to you within minutes. Friends turn to you during moments of crisis or transition. You are a lighthouse for the soul, even when you don't realize it. Your spiritual path isn't always linear, but it's always alive. You may explore meditation, prayer, sacred art, or simply long walks under the moon. No matter your method, your purpose remains the same: to remember what's true, and to help others do the same. You're not here to escape life, you're here to awaken within it. You are someone who can turn pain into poetry, and you've likely done it more times than you can count. Your heartbreaks become art, your grief becomes empathy, your losses become wisdom. You don't bypass emotion, you transmute it. That's why your words hold weight, your art holds energy, your touch holds comfort. You've turned the hardest parts of life into bridges instead of walls. You don't shrink from the past, you create from it. This is your magic, the ability to find meaning in pain, and to use that meaning as a light for others. You turn loss into compassion, making you an extraordinary friend, partner, healer, and creator. You've learned that life isn't about avoiding wounds, it's about learning how to keep your heart open in the presence of them. Your experiences don't harden you, they soften you toward the struggles of others. You know what it's like to feel unseen, unheard, or broken, and because of that, you naturally hold space for those going through their own shadows. Compassion radiates from you, not as pity, but as recognition. You don't just say, "I understand." You show it, quietly and fully. And because of that, people trust you deeply, sometimes instantly. You turn silence into music, in every sense of the phrase. Whether through literal music, writing, acts of service, or your very presence, you bring harmony where there was emptiness. You speak when it matters, but your silences also carry meaning. You're the person who sits beside someone without trying to fix them, just being there. And in that stillness, healing begins. You don't just fill space, you honor it. Your life is a gentle soundtrack of transformation. You show others that growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it looks like a water lily, unfolding one petal at a time, rising from stillness, blooming from the depths. Stone horoscope, aquamarine. Your birthstone, aquamarine, isn't just a pretty crystal, it's a mirror of your essence. This shimmering, sea-colored gem carries the exact same blend of sensitivity, grace, and spiritual depth that defines those born on March 1st. In ancient times, sailors used aquamarine as a talisman for safe passage across unpredictable waters. For you, this stone serves the same function, not to steer the ship, but to keep your heart steady when waves crash and emotions run deep. Its energy is soothing, clarifying, and protective, acting like a spiritual compass that always points you toward peace. As someone ruled by emotion and intuition, aquamarine supports your natural rhythm, offering stability without dimming your dreaminess. Whether worn as jewelry or carried close, it harmonizes your internal tides and enhances your ability to express your truth with both softness and power. Aquamarine is a stone of calm communication, a gift that beautifully matches your own quiet eloquence. You're someone who often feels more than you speak, and when you do speak, your words come from a place of emotion, intuition, and careful thought. But emotions, especially strong ones, can sometimes muddle your voice. That's where aquamarine comes in. It clears the throat chakra, helping you speak with clarity, courage, and compassion, even when you're overwhelmed. It's especially helpful during emotional conversations, when you need to express your needs without guilt or soften your truth without losing its meaning. With this stone nearby, you're able to articulate feelings that once seemed too complex or vulnerable to put into words. It encourages honest, heart-centered dialogue, not just with others, but with yourself. Aquamarine is also a protector of emotional and spiritual health, acting like a buffer between your sensitive soul and the chaos of the outside world. As a deeply empathic person, you often absorb the moods, energies, and stress of others without realizing it. This can leave you feeling drained, anxious, or emotionally unstable. Aquamarine serves as a subtle energetic shield, helping you remain open-hearted without becoming overwhelmed. It doesn't harden your sensitivity, it preserves it. Think of it like a spiritual life vest. It allows you to float even when the world feels too heavy. Whether you're dealing with emotional burnout, spiritual confusion, or the weight of other people's problems, this stone helps you hold your center and return to emotional alignment. It invites peace into your aura, reinforcing your natural ability to heal without being consumed by others' wounds. This gem is also said to improve intuition and empathy, two qualities you already possess in abundance, but which can become even more refined and trustworthy with aquamarine's support. You often know things without knowing how you know them, and this can be both a gift and a burden. Doubt creeps in. Am I imagining this? Is this real? Aquamarine calms that doubt. It sharpens your inner voice while helping you trust it. It enhances your psychic awareness, deepens your empathy, and helps you read emotional undercurrents without confusion. With aquamarine, your intuitive hunches become clearer, and your emotional insights become easier to interpret. It doesn't add anything new to you, it simply tunes what's already there. You'll find yourself more connected to your own guidance, more confident in your perceptions, and more able to distinguish your feelings from others. Aquamarine should be kept close during emotional storms, as it helps you navigate high-stakes or high-stress moments with a level head and an open heart. For someone born on March 1st, emotional highs and lows are part of your nature, but that doesn't mean they're always easy to manage. When you're overwhelmed by heartbreak, conflict, anxiety, or disappointment, aquamarine steps in like a quiet anchor. It soothes nervous tension, cools fiery emotional reactions, and helps you pause before reacting impulsively. This can be a lifesaver during sensitive conversations, difficult decisions, or moments of internal chaos. Whether you're wearing it or holding it in your palm, aquamarine reminds you to breathe, to step back, and to reconnect with your inner wisdom. It doesn't erase the storm, it just helps you sail through it with grace. This stone also stabilizes your moods, which is especially important given your deeply responsive emotional nature. Like the ocean, your feelings can shift with the slightest breeze. One moment you're inspired, the next you're overwhelmed. Aquamarine doesn't suppress these feelings, it balances them. It works like emotional aromatherapy, diffusing your intensity into something gentler, more manageable. When you feel scattered, it brings focus. When you feel hopeless, it brings calm. When you feel emotionally frozen, it helps you thaw. It's especially helpful for managing anxiety, grief, or emotional confusion, offering a cooling, almost serene energy that clears mental fog and lightens your emotional load. By wearing or meditating with aquamarine, you become more emotionally resilient, able to ride your waves without being swept under them. Aquamarine also encourages clarity in love and life decisions, helping you choose from a place of truth rather than fear. As a Pisces born on March 1st, you sometimes struggle with decision-making, not because you're indecisive, but because you feel everything so deeply. You see all the angles, all the outcomes, and all the emotional implications of your choices. This sensitivity can make you hesitant to act, especially when your head and heart seem to conflict. Aquamarine quiets the noise. It aligns your thoughts with your intuition and helps you make choices that feel both grounded and soulful. Whether you're choosing a partner, leaving a job, or following a dream, this stone sharpens your inner clarity so you can trust that you're making the right move, not just logically, but spiritually and emotionally, too. Ultimately, aquamarine is more than your birthstone, it's your energetic mirror. It reflects your need for serenity, your hunger for truth, your emotional depth, and your intuitive brilliance. Carry it, wear it, meditate with it, let it hold space for you in the moments you forget your strength. It was born from the sea, just like you. Calm, deep, powerful, and always in motion. Compatibility with other signs. Your emotional depth, imagination, and spiritual sensitivity as a March 1st Pisces make your romantic connections feel cosmic, karmic, and almost otherworldly. You don't do casual love. For you, is an ocean of shared soul stories, unspoken understanding, and transformative intimacy. But not everyone can swim in those depths without drowning, or drifting away. That's why compatibility matters. The signs you're drawn to emotionally must also be able to ground you, challenge you gently, and honor your vulnerability. You want someone who feels like home and opens the door to higher love. Your ideal match isn't about sparks. It's about soul resonance, and the way your emotional currents flow together. Cancer offers a soulmate-level emotional bond that often feels written in the stars. You and Cancer speak the same emotional language. They understand your need for affection, emotional reassurance, and creative space. With Cancer, you don't have to explain your mood swings or apologize for your sensitivity, they get it. Their nurturing nature comforts your sometimes chaotic inner world, and your intuitive insight helps them feel seen in ways few others can offer. Together, you create a safe haven built on trust, tenderness, and mutual protection. This pairing feels like a spiritual nest, quiet, safe, and deeply connected. If both of you maintain boundaries and don't fall into codependency, this is a profoundly fulfilling bond. Taurus helps ground your dreams, offering stability, devotion, and earthy sensuality. While you float in realms of imagination and intuition, Taurus builds structures that allow your dreams to flourish. They offer consistency where you offer creativity, and together you find a rhythm that feels like music. Taurus teaches you patience, practicality, and how to manifest ideas into reality. You, in turn, show Taurus the beauty of emotional expression, artistic thinking, and soulful spontaneity. It's a relationship built on mutual admiration. If Taurus can accept your need for emotional fluidity, and you can honor their need for routine, this becomes a beautifully balanced union. Scorpio brings mysterious, passionate chemistry that's intense, transformative, and sometimes overwhelming, in all the best ways. This is a magnetic connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction. Scorpio understands your depth, your shadows, your intuitive language. You both crave intimacy that transcends the physical and dives into the emotional and spiritual. There's often a sense of destiny with this pairing, like you were meant to find each other to unravel some karmic thread. The challenge here is learning to navigate emotional intensity without triggering each other's fears or trust issues. When both partners are emotionally evolved, this becomes a love story full of power, poetry, and soul-level passion. Capricorn offers a surprisingly perfect balance of structure and softness. While they may seem emotionally distant at first, Capricorn's quiet strength and protective instincts make you feel incredibly safe. They admire your creativity and empathy, even if they don't always express it with flowery words. You help them loosen up and connect to their emotional body, while they help you stay grounded, focused, and consistent. This opposites attract dynamic works because both of you are secretly hopeless romantics. Capricorn just hides it better. Over time, a bond with Capricorn becomes one of deep trust, shared goals, and unshakable loyalty. With patience and communication, this turns into a lifelong love built to last. Gemini offers a mental connection, but may lack emotional depth, which can frustrate your deeply feeling nature. You're all heart, while Gemini often lives in the head. They stimulate your imagination and bring spontaneity and wit to your life, but they may struggle to meet your emotional needs consistently. Gemini's flirtatiousness and inconsistency can leave you feeling insecure if trust isn't firmly established. That said, if both of you are willing to bridge the gap, Gemini by learning emotional presence, and you by giving them room to breathe, this can evolve into a playful and thought-provoking relationship. Just know, it takes effort on both sides to truly thrive. Sagittarius can be fun and liberating, but may struggle with commitment, especially in the early stages of a relationship. Sagittarius is drawn to your spirituality and emotional insight, while you're inspired by their passion and zest for life. You both love to explore, internally and externally, but your explorations are emotional and intuitive, while theirs are physical and philosophical. The clash can come when you seek deeper intimacy and they're still chasing freedom. If Sagittarius matures emotionally and recognizes the value of emotional roots, and if you give them enough space to breathe, this pairing can evolve into an adventurous, purpose-driven love. But it may take time to find the right rhythm. Aquarius is intriguing but emotionally distant, which can leave you feeling unseen or misunderstood. You admire their mind, their originality, and their humanitarian ideals. But their tendency to detach or intellectualize feelings may trigger your emotional insecurities. They appreciate your compassion but may feel overwhelmed by your emotional depth. If both of you are self-aware and communicative, this can become a union of vision and creativity, each of you teaching the other a new way of relating. However, the emotional labor will often fall on you, unless Aquarius learns to open up and stay grounded in the relationship. Ultimately, compatibility is more than astrology. It's alignment of values, communication styles, and the willingness to grow together. But your chart gives you a powerful compass. Follow your intuition, honor your emotional truth, and remember, the right person won't fear your depth, they'll swim with you in it. Final thoughts. If you were born on March 1st, you exist at the crossroads of imagination and impact, someone whose very presence seems stitched from stardust and soul. You walk the line between dreamer and doer, lover and mystic, artist and empath. That balance isn't an accident, it's a divine design. You were meant to dream and act, to feel and create, to love and lead. Your emotional landscape is rich and vast, and while some may call it too much, it's exactly that depth that allows you to experience life in a way that others only glimpse. You don't just live, you absorb, reflect, interpret, and transcend. That emotional sensitivity, when nurtured and understood, becomes a force that shapes not only your destiny but the lives of those around you. You are the gentle wave that carves canyons, the soft heart that shifts entire rooms. You feel everything deeply, often more deeply than you let on. Emotions for you aren't passing clouds, they're entire weather systems. A glance, a song, a story can ripple through your body like an earthquake. While others may need explanation, you already understand by instinct. This emotional richness gives your life more color, more meaning, and more nuance. But it also means you need time to process, to rest, to release. You may find yourself overwhelmed by the weight of the world or consumed by the pain of others. Yet it is this very depth that makes you the healer, the artist, the spiritual anchor you are. Feeling deeply is not a liability, it's a sacred gift. You are here not just to survive your feelings, but to use them, to write, to speak, to touch, to understand, and to heal. You love endlessly, and that love flows into everything you do. You don't just love people, you love potential, beauty, memories, ideas, and moments. When you attach, it's not from the surface of your heart but from its very core. You see the sacred in others, often long before they see it in themselves. Your compassion is bottomless, and your desire to uplift, protect, and connect is often the root of your greatest joys and your deepest pain. Sometimes people misunderstand your love. They mistake your empathy for naivety, your forgiveness for weakness. But you know better. Love, for you, is an act of power. It's not performative, it's primal. When you love, you don't just light up a room, you bring soul into it. And the right people will never take that for granted. They will rise to meet you where your love lives, deep and real and rare. You dream bigger than most dare to, and those dreams are not just fantasies, they're blueprints for your future. Your imagination is a portal. You often receive visions, inspirations, or ideas that seem too idealistic for others to understand. But you don't dream to escape, you dream to build. Your inner world is not a retreat from life, it's the source of your most important creations. Whether you want to write a novel, open a healing center, travel the world, or simply build a home that feels like poetry, your dreams are not frivolous. They are sacred whispers from your higher self. The only thing that holds you back is fear. Fear of being too much, too emotional, or too unrealistic. But you weren't born to be realistic. You were born to inspire realism, to stretch, to make room for what others said could never exist. Your life is truly a story of transcendence, unfolding in chapters of healing, heartbreak, beauty, and rebirth. You're not here to walk a straight line, you're here to spiral upward. You may stumble, you may feel lost, you may question your path over and over. But each setback is a redirection. Each breakdown, a breakthrough in disguise. The version of you that survives the storm is always wiser, deeper, and more whole than the one who entered it. You live many lifetimes within one life, each version of you rising stronger and more compassionate than before. You are both the wound and the healing, the seeker and the wisdom, the flame and the water. That's the paradox of your soul, and it's what makes your journey so unforgettable. Your emotions are your superpower, not your weakness. In a world that often rewards detachment, you are living proof that feeling is strength. That softness can be solid. That vulnerability is not weakness, it is courage under the weight of truth. You don't avoid emotion, you walk through it. You touch the places others fear to go. And in doing so, you bring light to the shadows. You're not just emotionally intelligent, you're emotionally fluent. You understand things that can't be taught. You sense before there is proof. And you love without needing a reason. That power is rare. Protect it, own it, and never allow anyone to tell you that your depth is a flaw. It's your gift, it's your compass, it's your calling. Stay grounded. That's not advice to clip your wings, it's a reminder to tend your roots. As someone ruled by emotion and vision, your challenge is to remain anchored while you explore. Grounding doesn't mean silencing your spirit. It means supporting it. Eat well, rest often, create routines that feel sacred. Spend time in nature, connect with your body. Without grounding, your dreams may drift. But with it, you'll be unstoppable. The tree that reaches the highest must also be rooted the deepest. Your roots keep you safe as you reach toward the stars. Protect your energy. You are magnetic, and that magnetism attracts everything, good and bad, light and heavy. People may be drawn to your compassion but leave you emotionally exhausted. Situations may seem beautiful until they sap your peace. You must learn to guard your light, not by dimming it, but by placing it in sacred hands. Say no, walk away, recharge in silence. Choose people who pour back into you. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's spiritual hygiene. You can't give from an empty cup, and the world needs you whole. Your energy is not for everyone. And that's not a weakness, that's wisdom. And above all, never forget, the universe gave you depth for a reason. You were not made to skim the surface. You were not meant to settle for shallow love, small talk, or half-truths. You were here to feel it all, to know it all, and to transform through it all. Your life will never be average. Your soul refuses to be. So lean into your complexity. Celebrate your contradictions. Live with the full force of your heart, even when it breaks. Because every time you rise from the deep, you rise wiser. Stronger, brighter. You weren't made for the shallow end. You were meant to swim in the deep. And oh, how beautiful you look when you do.